This episode of All You Need to Know is brought to you by Union Bank of India. Good people to bank with.
Good morning and happy Monday to you. This is the Daily Morning Update from BQ Prime and I'm Alex Matthew. Today is the 6th of November. Here's everything that you need to know at the start of your day. In the top story, US Secretary of State Anthony Blinken has made an unscheduled stop in Baghdad, expanding US diplomacy in West Asia with the goal of preventing a spread of the Israel-Hamas war. The visit came as Israeli troops entirely encircled Gaza city, effectively cutting off the northern part of the strip from the south. That's based on a Bloomberg report which quoted Israel's army spokesperson, Rear Admiral Daniel Hagari. Separately, Israel suspended its heritage minister from cabinet meetings after his comments on the possibility of using an atomic bomb in the conflict. Now, Saudi Arabia and Russia have reaffirmed that they will keep their oil supply cuts of more than 1 million barrels per day intact till the end of the year. The leaders of the OPEC Plus coalition announced the plans in separate official statements yesterday. And that's according to a Bloomberg report as well. Riyadh has slashed daily crude production by 1 million barrels per day, and Moscow is curbing exports by 300,000, and that's on top of earlier cuts made with the other OPEC Plus nations. Prices of crude oil have understandably been volatile in the past few weeks amidst the geopolitical tension in West Asia. As of this morning, Brent crude was trading at just over $85 to the barrel. In corporate news, Vodafone Idea plans for future funding to be utilized towards overdue payments to its vendors and capital expenditure towards 4G and 5G. During an earnings conference call, Akshay Mundra, the chief executive officer of the company, said that growth capex to expand 4G and roll out 5G will happen based on the new funding being tied up. He also said that the company will be able to conclude discussions with equity investors in the current quarter. Additional funding from banks will be tied up based on this funding. We've got a new IPO to talk about. Protean eGov Technologies will launch its offer today, and it will be open till Wednesday. It is an IT-enabled solutions provider that's offering just under 62 lakh shares via an offer for sale. The total issue size is pegged at 490 crore rupees with a price band of 752 to 792 rupees per share. Among the sellers are 361 Special Opportunities Fund, HDFC Bank, Axis Bank, and NSE Investments. For more details on that issue, do look up the story on the website bqprime.com. It should be titled All You Need to Know. Now, the government has banned 22 illegal betting and gambling applications and websites, including the controversial app Mahadev Book Online, which is at the center of bribery allegations against Chhattisgarh Chief Minister Bhupesh Baghel. The action follows investigations conducted by the Enforcement Directorate against illegal betting app Syndicate and subsequent raids on Mahadev Book in Chhattisgarh, revealing the app's unlawful operations, according to a statement by the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. In other international news, South Korea will prohibit stock short selling until June 2024 to allow regulators to actively improve rules and systems, and that's according to the Financial Services Commission. That followed the discovery of massive illegal naked short selling by global investment banks, according to a statement. Trading with borrowed shares, which is an essential component of short selling, will be banned for companies in the Kospi 200 index and Kosdaq 150 index from Monday until the end of June. Now, turning to international markets, US stock futures were largely unchanged last I checked, but based on Friday's positive close, you may see some risk-on sentiment at the start of the week. In fact, the three early rises in the Asia-Pacific region were strongly positive at the start. And as I look at the gift nifty, it's indicating just about a marginal uptick. Let's see if that pans out at the start of trade today. In terms of individual stocks that you'd want to watch out for, there's a lot of earnings to take account of. There's Interglobe Aviation, which reported its earnings post-market hours, and its revenue grew as much as 19.5% to just under 15,000 crore rupees, and that is more or less in line with the expectations. The margin stood at 16% and it reported a profit of 189 crore rupees versus a loss in the comparable quarter of about 1,583 crore rupees. You also have Thermax, which reported a revenue growth of about 11% to 2,302 crore rupees, and that too was in line with expectations. The EBITDA grew as much as 45%, with the margin standing at 8.88%. The reported profit grew as much as 46% to 160 crore rupees. Now, Crompton Greaves reported revenue growth of 5%, and that stood at 1,782 crore rupees, again in line. The margins stood at 9.8%, and that was a decline or a contraction from the comparable quarter. The reported profit was down as much as 23% at just over 100 crore rupees, and that missed estimates just a tad bit. A number of others, including JK Paper as well as Godavari Power, to look at. But let's also take a look at some of the news that came in post-market hours. One of those is going to be Tata Steel. The record date in the matter of the scheme of amalgamation between the company and Tata Steel Long Products has been set as the 17th of November, and Tata Steel will issue and allot fully paid up equity shares to the shareholders of Tata Steel Long Products in the record, on the record date, in the ratio of 67 equity shares of rupees 1 each for every 10 equity shares held in Tata Steel Long Products. Now, Indian Oil Corporation has gotten approval from the NCLT's Mumbai bench for the acquisition of 100% stake in Mercator Petroleum. And finally, Infosys, the company, and Spirit Aerosystems inaugurated their dedicated Center for Aerospace Engineering Excellence in Richardson, Texas. Not too much else in the way of news. There's also Ethos, where the board has approved fundraising via a QIP at the issue price of 1,547 rupees per equity share, and that's a discount of about 5% to the floor price of 1,627.49 rupees per share. Now, you'll find a lot of the action live over the course of the day on the website bqprime.com, so don't forget to check it out. And do write to us on any one of our social media platforms about what you think about this podcast and, in fact, everything else. This is Alex Matthews signing off. Have a great day.
This episode of All You Need to Know is brought to you by Union Bank of India. Good people to bank with.